the Minister of Aviation and Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has suspended the controversial Nigeria Air project and the airport concessioning deals initiated by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. The immediate past administration had proposed concessioning of key airports, including those in Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt, a development that attracted controversies from industry stakeholders, with some calling for renovations instead.
Now, announcing the suspension on Thursday during his inaugural visit and tour of the Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos, the minister also disclosed plans to renovate and modernize the old international terminal at the Murtala Muhammed Airport. Joining us now is aviation expert Tony Ukachukwu, who joins us to discuss what this means for the system. Good morning, Mr. Ukachukwu. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. My pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. We're going to start with the Nigeria Air project. It said that, that project and, of course, the concession of the Lagos, Abuja, Kano airports have created loads of controversy in the aviation sector. But I want your thoughts on Nigeria Air itself before we get to the concession of the airport and renovation of terminals. House of Reps called it a sham by Hadi Sirika. He, of course, has now moved on to a quiet life, I believe, somewhere with his family and friends. But what do you think should be done about the Nigeria Air project and how it was handled and the billions of naira that were seemingly spent on that project that, didn't bear any fruit?
Light of day.
Thank you very much. If you will recall, on this station, I was interviewed and I was asked, before, Hadi Sirika announced Nigeria Air, I said there was no way Nigeria Air was going to take off. And then just 2 days later, he announced they did the show in Abuja, and afterwards, of course, everybody knows what came after. So Nigerian Air, I even worried to call it Nigeria Air because as it is, it's not yet an entity because it's still going through, it's actually going to stage 2 in the AOC process and has about 3 other steps to go before it can be certified an airline. So there are so many controversies around Nigerian Air, and I must give kudos to Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Festus Keyamo, for setting it aside for now because it's something that needs to be looked into. The idea of setting up a national carrier is not bad in itself. However, aviation stakeholders are worried on how the process to setting that carrier up was, went through. That is what stakeholders are querying. So basically, it's a great concept. Nigeria, as large as we are as a country, we need a national carrier. However, it should be private sector driven. To help such an entity. And then, of course, it also has the Ethiopian Airways angle, where Ethiopian Airways is the highest major shareholder, while Nigeria owns just 5%. Again, that calls for question. So there's so many controversies that surrounding Nigerian Air. I'm happy at this point that it has been set aside for now. It's something that has to be critically looked into, and then, of course, not jettisoning it entirely as a bad idea, but however, it needs to be looked into and, some tweaks done, and not for us as a country selling out our sovereignty to some other people to say they are managing our airline. They call it Nigerian Air, whereas it's another entity or another country that's having the majority share and, calling the shots.
Yeah, but I mean, I get the part where you said, it should not be discarded, but I fear that it will be continuously used by aviation ministers as their own, legacy project, as we do in Nigeria. And of course, this is maybe another avenue for billions and billions and billions of naira again to be invested in the same project. What I wanted you to speak on was, do you think that Hadi Sirika will be made to answer for, whatever amount of money was spent on the
Will there be an investigation done that will be made public?
Again, we are all Nigerians who know how, things are done in this part of the world. I expect that Hadi Sirika should be called to question to answer to his, leadership over 7+ years, superintending as the Minister of Aviation on various projects. I don't think that he should just be let off the hook and just, become just as normal, all the normal cases we've seen. I think he should be made to answer about the project is gone through, for us so that we can set a precedent to say we are trying to do things right. So I'm cautiously optimistic to say that he'll be called to answer for his role as Minister of Aviation. But it's something that I look forward to if government is serious about, leading us in the right direction. All
right. There have been some announcements about the international flights might have to be. I mean, I want to get the exact wording, of how it says. Some of the papers did report it as the Lagos International Airport being shut down for repairs. We want you to maybe give an explanation as to exactly what this means for travelers, what this means for travel agencies, and people who have probably already booked flights. It says from the 1st of October, it will be shut for renovation. So do you maybe have a sense of what this would look like?
Okay, the truth is, I have to tell you that the aviation sector is actually in a quagmire, is in a conundrum, is in ICU. You can use any terminology to equate it. It's not in a good state of health, So yes, I understand that it might be discomforting for travelers, but same travelers look forward to a seamless facilitation of flights through our airports. There should be an airport. There's a kind of airport experience that we go through when we travel abroad. It doesn't happen here. So for me, shutting down the MMIA, Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos for repairs is a welcome development. That airport was built in 1978, and since then, our populations have quadrupled. Most of the infrastructure is obsolete, and the whole lot is going wrong with that terminal. We keep patching things, today the roofs are leaking, tomorrow the conveyor belts break down, tomorrow the ACs. There's a whole lot of issues with that airport, a whole lot. And we can't continue to manage it. I mean, airports are windows to a country. Passing through Murtala Muhammed International Airport is an eyesore for any traveler. It gives you a sense of what a country is like. So if you go to a country where you pass through the airport and it's also the facilitation is seamless, you can imagine what country you're going to. Murtala Muhammed International Airport gives us a bad face when you're coming to Nigeria, and I think that it should be given due attention. So I welcome the decision of the minister to shut it down for repairs whilst we move to the new terminal. However, there are going to be some challenges. However, I would have thought that some after the minister's tour, you should have gone back visit and come up with some mid-term solutions on what to go, rather than being quick to say we are moving and then operations that are going to start with MMA2. MMA2 does not have the capacity to handle international flights at the moment. So, there will be challenges, but I welcome the decision to close, to shut down international airports for Lagos for repairs.
All right, I'd like to quickly ask you, I mean, you've talked about the airports, the aviation space being in ICU. Do you have faith that the current Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has what it takes to bring it out of ICU?
Again, so it has been a major cause of discussion to say the aviation sector needs an aviator who understands the technicalities of the sector. But again, if you look at it on the flip side, we had an aviator in the last 7+ years, and this is where we are. So the question is now, do you really need that aviator to turn around, the sector? So for me, we need somebody with leadership, commitment, the gusto to actually bring reforms. Of course, you're going to be enemies to some people, but if you are patriotic enough to see how the mess is in the sector, you should be moved to be able to turn things around. So in that, I see some qualities in Festus, the minister, Festus Keyamo. He's somebody that has strong will, and very strong convictions to do what he thinks is right. So bringing that to bear in the sector, I think, is a plus. However, from the get-go, there should be some sitting down with the stakeholders to really understand the issues.
Okay.
Because if you just set off and just begin to do things, they are going to miss it, and we're going to go back to where we are again. So first of all, sit down with the stakeholders, understand the issues, and then choose your fight. What can you be able to fix in the time that you have? Because again, he can't do everything. We need close to 20 years of continuous leadership to be able to fix the rot in the sector.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ukachukwu, for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central to share with us what your thoughts are. We certainly do hope that the aviation sector comes out of the ICU and that we can have you for more pleasant conversations about what's happening in that space. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.